And unfortunately, Kim's resignation came in too late for our summer recruitment phase.
We're okay for today with 5.
Yes, Kim got a job in California.
Oh, what?
Yeah, she moved to California in.
She could still live in.
Well, yeah,
That's a difference.
but our city code says she can't be in.
Oh, okay, all
she's
right,
in-
anyhow, I think we're probably busy out there.
Yeah, I think Silas, California.
Oh, wow.
It's Silas.
I think Silas is in the brief somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It's been a long time. Right?
That's a
Good luck.
Yeah.
All right, Martha, you have quorum, and since you're vice chair, you're in charge.
All right, well, it is 6:04. Let's get started.
Okay. Well, what is the first agenda item?
Public invited.
Oh, do we have anybody reach out? No, okay,
No public today.
okay.
All right, next.
Minutes.
Minutes. And Martha, because you weren't here, you can just abstain, but if we have a majority of the rest that were here, then we can vote on the minutes.
Oh, okay.
You were out too?
Yeah.
Okay. So Robert,
Robert.
Katie, and Jeffrey can vote on the minutes.
I reviewed them. I didn't, they looked accurate to me.
Okay. So Katie, are you motioning to accept them?
Motion to accept.
Robert or Jeffrey, you want a second?
I'll second.
Jeffrey, second? You
All right.
vote?
Vote.
All right,
Aye.
Aye.
perfect. All right. Okay, next item.
Site visits.
Oh, yeah, those are fun. Let me talk about those. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go get my notes. I thought I was fully prepared, but no, I have some cool notes.
You like full notes?
Yes.
While he's gone, did anyone go to that meeting with all the housing investment presentation on I think it was the 17th or something? I had another thing. Did anyone go to that? No. Okay.
Housing investments.
Well, it was Christie's, right, report?
Oh, I saw it online. Yeah.
Did it go
Yeah,
well?
To the
It was a
city
council.
council meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what's the person we want to talk about?
VCAP.
Okay, BCAP. So you all know that BCAP provides support with people who are living with HIV, or they provide work on trying to help folks not get HIV. And so I had a really great conversation there. Their main office is located on 14th Street in Boulder, but they do have a satellite office here in Longmont, 515 Kimberg. And they provide their main mission is to connect people living with HIV with primary care connections, but they also provide supplies, and they can even provide food and other basic need supports. So when I went to talk to them, when I did their desk audit, they've been working with somebody named, and I don't know if everybody knows, you might not know her. She's pretty well known in the local nonprofit. Her name's Jenny Abergash. She used to work with Social Venture Partners, and she's been working with them on their board development. And I was so impressed with their board selection process. She helped them create this amazing board selection process to help them ensure that they're getting diversity, they're being inclusive, and they're getting the needs that they need to have. And so I was super impressed about that. Part of our conversation that got a little difficult is when we started talking about federal funding cuts, because some of their major funding comes through the Ryan White Act. Ryan White. That was an act passed after that young person that was
Yeah,
murdered. Yeah, in
Yeah.
Wyoming, yeah. And so there's concerns about that funding. And so we had a really good conversation on that, about their future. There is some conversations, not that they're necessarily ready to do that, but there's been talking about, how do we, kind of to our conversation about how do we collaborate and potentially find ways to merge to be more scalable. And so there has been some talk about that. But the problem is that we talked about some of the larger agencies that do this work throughout Colorado is they're also impacted by if there's any cuts to the Ryan White Act, right? So it's kind of like it doesn't necessarily matter if you merge because you're all receiving some pretty severe cuts. So we had a really good conversation about that. And we talked about, let's see, here's some other stuff right there. So a lot of the folks that they work with, we talked about how they connect with their clients. A lot of the folks that they connect with, they do some street outreach here in Longmont as well. And get to know folks, and folks come into their office here in Longmont and get supplies, whether that be medication. Their outcomes from last year are pretty strong. They have done really well at connecting folks with primary care, with what they call it. There's this thing called PrEP care, and what that does, it's a combination of medications that get people to like such a low viral load that they're no longer contagious. And so they're doing a great job. There's just concern about moving forward, what kind of cuts are going to affect. And even now they're working as lean as possible. We talked about their operation and how they've cut back on several employees at the admin level to try and be more lean. But yeah, there is definitely some concern. So I don't know if you guys have any questions about them, but that was my meeting with them.
Say a little bit more about their board recruitment strategy.
Well, I wish I had it with me. So one,
Made it so spectacular.
well, actually, I do have it. Give me 1 second. Let me, and I'll put it on our, I'll put it on the big screen here. I'll show it to you. And so I just gotta get to that file. Because I was really impressed with it. I see a lot of these things throughout the year, and that was impressive. All right. 25 funding.
Be a model for other agencies that.
I asked him if he was okay to share it, and he says, yeah, it's,
Yeah, Frank is amazing.
yeah. So let me share this with the board.
I want to swipe a copy for my dissertation.
It's really good. It is in here somewhere because. Oh, here it is. I'll share it here in a second so you all can see it. Actually, I'm gonna open it in a different way. 1 second, sorry. It's hard to share from teams to teams.
You can share a copy with me and then I can pull it up here.
Yeah, hold on. I just lost it. It's in here. It's in here because I just. Where did you go? Sorry.
It's because you're on the spot.
Well,
Everybody's watching.
oh, here it goes. I'm gonna open it in the in my Adobe app, and that'll make it easier to share. Okay. Oh, here it comes. There it is. All right. So let me share it. All right. So I just really liked how well thought out it was. you know, I mean, it's really just, they really they really prepare and they screen, and it's just, I just thought it was one of the best just laid out plans. And so we had a really good conversation. I love the fact that they can audit a board meeting, they can tour, you know, I just thought it was really well done. So in my mind, this is one of the best ones I've seen. And very few agencies go beyond what's in their bylaws, right? So their bylaws say, you know, how do you replace a vacancy? But they actually went to the process of laying out how they want to do it. So I thought it was great.
Do they define what diversity means?
They have a JET. I would have to look for it, but they do. They do have they did a lot of work in their EDI a couple of years ago. And if you want, I can find it and send it to
I'm
you.
just curious.
Yeah. So that's BCAP, doing some great work, but there is concern about the future. So, all right, the next one is Sister Carmen. So Sister Carmen was, here are my Sister Carmen notes. Sorry, I got lots of notes. So Sister Carmen, what they've been doing this program. So Sister Carmen is the family resource center out of Lafayette. And so there's 3 family resource centers in Boulder County. There's EPA that primarily works in Boulder, our centers here in Longmont, and Sister Carmen's in Lafayette. And what they are doing, the reason that we funded them this year, because they've been doing this countywide. They were kind of the family resource center appointed to do this digital literacy training, and so they've been doing these digital classes throughout the county, and this year you all funded them. They've been working primarily with Spanish speaking classes, and older Spanish with older Spanish speakers, adult. They collaborate with the art center, libraries, and the senior center. Of course, for our Spanish speakers, language is a barrier, but what they want is they want to connect with government programs. They kind of walk them through that. They do pre and post surveys, and you know, the demand just continues to grow. It has not gone down. Let's see, what else did it say? As far as their desk audits, they're doing, I mean, these large agencies have pretty much everything, and they had everything in order that they needed to have. I think I asked them a question and they followed up with it. Give me 1 second to find that email. I think I asked them. I asked them for a quote about what, you know, I asked them for some stories. And what they said is, you know, people, especially older adults, are really being helped by these classes, and that they're super satisfied and thankful to be able to participate in the course that really is helping them get the basics of computers down, right? These are, like I said, they're working a lot with older Spanish-speaking adults, right, that have not been ingrained in computers. So it was a really good site visit. And I'm looking forward to get their outcomes. This is the first year we funded, so I don't have any history of their outcomes, but they're doing some pretty good work and working with our older adults in particular. They do offer childcare in some classes, but it's really the older adults that are taking a lot of advantage of these classes. And which is the last one?
Restart Art Studio.
The restarts. Hold on. It's in here. It was, so they are located in an office that I never knew it was there. It's this old house right off of either Terry or Coffin, right behind the street that's behind the post office. Okay, you know that street on the other side when you leave
Terry?
the post office? Terry, it's on Terry. So if you ever drive down, there is a house on the right side. And it's a beautiful, beautiful old home. And Restart has an office there. And we had a really good conversation about just because again, they're also a pretty new organization. And my concern with new organizations always is, you know, are they, I don't know how to use it, but professional enough, right? Are they still really grassroots? And this is kind of right in they're growing, they're kind of, the ED is pretty young and it's kind of in between the grassroots and, for example, the mom is on the board.
Oh.
She's not a voting member, but she's kind of a consultant because she's done this work before. So the mom is on the board. And I was like, I asked her, I said, hey, you know, what's the role? And she's like, well, she's a consultant, but she's not a voting member of the board. But things like that, right? It's looking at what the role is. She's an ex-officio on the board, which is not necessarily new. But I did ask her about. I took a lot.
What do they do that's art?
So they do art therapy.
Oh.
And so they work with folks from our they do work with
Juvenile diversion, rewind.
Rewind. They work with Rewind. They just
They were
hired
the
a
last
fourth.
thing, right? The last.
What?
I think we funded them.
Yeah.
We did fund them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're growing. They just hired their fourth therapist. They're seeing 35 one-on-ones. And they got one group about 6. They got one group class going on 5 to 6 people. And their goal was their yearly goal was to see 52. So they're well on their way. They're at 35 right now. And so, you know, they're doing pretty well in the one-on-one. They're actually struggling with groups. They have I don't know if they're going to meet their output goal for groups. They wanted 32 in groups. Not sure if they're going to get there. They said for some reason the one-on-one is more popular than the group. But it's really meeting their goals as far as the one-on-one is concerned. Youth have they have really been served by they've increased their resiliency to the therapy because of therapy. It's been a really powerful process so that they can go, they can really walk through what they're experiencing, the trauma. So they're doing really well and making kids feel more comfortable talking about their emotions and their situations. Some of the barriers that they're seeing is also like spreading the word about their groups. Again, that's where they're struggling, is to get the groups up and going. The one-on-ones is going well. I actually connected them with the Autism Society of Boulder County, because I know that, and not necessarily for the kids, but for the caregivers, they're under a lot of stress and pressure. So I connected them with that. So yeah, they're doing really good. 35 kids that are there in one-on-one therapy. They're working with Rewind. They're getting more professional. But yeah, that was my big concern about them, is because they have a lot of the stuff, but they're still working on things. Like, for example, they're working on the strategic plan. They're actually accomplishing those goals. So, like I said, I think overall, I wrote down overall pretty impressed with the professionalism of a smaller organization. They have a lot of good policies, so I was really, really impressed with them as far as. But I should say that we did talk about Medicaid.
Yeah.
You know, sort of like PCAP, and I think we're going to hear this from a lot of our if we do site visits with our medical providers, there is concern about Medicaid and what the one big beautiful bill is going to do to their Medicaid funding, because a lot of them do get Medicaid funded. So
Do you
yeah,
know what the percentage of their budget comes from Medicaid funding?
we didn't talk about that, but I can find out and get more clarity on that.
Yeah. If you get the chance,
Yeah, I'll email her. I'll email Amanda. She was great. She was really responsive. I'll ask about what I know that for BCAP, it's not necessarily Medicaid is it, but it's really the Ryan White.
Yeah, that funding, but.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So any questions about restart? All right, so those are
You know, it's when you're saying art therapy, I'm an artist. I make money doing it. I never thought of it as therapy.
Oh, yeah, there's programs that focus on like
It's
different.
a job that I'm good at
Mhm.
and I'm capable of, but I never thought it would, other than that, it's just something I do.
Mhm.
The idea
Like
of
political art.
therapy, I just.
Yeah.
I
Maybe
just
that's
can't
why you're
figure out how that works.
Yeah,
yes, Martha?
Oh, I was just commenting, since he makes political art, it's probably why he's so chill.
Yeah. That's why you have a good attitude, because you do the.
and it's worked well for kids because sometimes with kids or children, they don't want to sit across from somebody and just talk. And so if you can help them do art to kind of express what they're feeling, like it just opens up so many worlds to them. And yeah, so interesting.
You know, as a professional artist, I guess I am. I have the capability of doing what I do when I don't feel like it.
Yeah.
I mean, there are times when I feel it. And it's enjoyable, and I sometimes laugh at what I'm doing. While I'm drawing, I'm laughing, it's so funny. Other times it's just a question of technique and knowing how things work. And so it becomes just inking and doing it with no feedback at all.
Right.
It's just a job. It's like finishing a cabinet or something, you know. And I just, as I say, I have a hard time thinking of art as other than work or being capable of doing something well. In German, they call it Funkenlust. And Funkenlust means the pleasure or joy you get from doing something well. That's all it is. The joy you get or the pleasure you get from doing something you do well.
Interesting.
All right, so the next topic is, and this is where I needed folks to be here, and we got quorum, is it's technicality, but we need to change, since we've changed our meeting time, we need to change our bylaws. And somebody brought up, I don't know if it was you, Jeffrey, or Mark, about why do we have to have a time? Why can't we just say the second Thursday but this is where this is the only change we gotta make. This is what the bylaws say, that we would begin promptly at 7, now we're at 6. And so, but I'm open to conversation if the board wants to. Like,
It was me, I think.
oh, you can, yeah,
And I just think it's the meeting shall be, shall be convened at a time mutually agreed upon by the members of the board is a far more.
So let me. Right,
It gives you flexibility.
Right, and the
Yeah,
other
I
thing
mean-
you may want to consider, because it's a public meeting, you may
Yeah.
want to consider adding to that, that it will be posted, publicly posted.
But at least the day before.
I
Right.
think
maybe it's having
that's,
24 hours.
24
that's
hours,
a-
yeah.
Before.
I actually believe that's in the bylaws as well, and it's 36, it's listed as maybe 36 hours somewhere else.
Yeah, oh, yeah, on the bottom.
Yeah,
Oh, no, that's for
So-
special meetings.
so you could, so we could just say all meetings. I mean, it's just just take out the word special and say meetings will be. I've just never, ever in my entire life seen a bylaw that specifies a meeting time.
Yeah,
That's a good catch.
yeah, good enough too, yeah.
So we could, okay, so I'm gonna wordsmith it here, so we could say the meeting shall be convened at a time
Mutually agreed.
mutually agreed upon by the board.
You could just say majority of the board, or doesn't.
Yeah, you could just say, convened at a time agreed upon by the majority of members of the board. That would be adequate.
Majority of the members
Majority of the board, yeah.
of the board. Okay. All meetings must be posted. What can you say?
It's 24 if it's open meeting, open meeting law.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Special meetings.
But if you want to say,
Send it to city clerk.
I can send it, and if they reject it, then we can look at it in August. I don't think they'll
I
reject
don't
it.
think that, yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna just leave it here. I'm just gonna get rid of this, the all meeting stuff, because that's kind of understood as a public board.
yeah,
And I'm just gonna leave, actually, the meeting shall be convened, and then, and I'm just gonna get rid of this sentence. Okay, so now it's gonna say, regularly scheduled meetings of the Longmont Housing and Human Services Advisory Board shall be held on the second Thursday of each month at a site provided by staff. The meeting shall be convened at a time mutually agreed upon by the majority of the members of the board. A quorum of the, so the rest, so does that look okay to everybody? Can everybody see that?
Do you want the day of the week to be?
Yeah, that's fine, because that's what we mean.
Yeah, because otherwise, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
So like,
So
what's
what you're saying-
Sunday could be a Wednesday.
well, no, but that would be,
Bylaws.
if we change it, if that would be considered a special meeting, as long as we note it,
Okay.
it would be fine.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I think for recruiting purposes, the standard, and again, I tried to find this section referenced in the Longmont Municipal Code. But I think the reason the day is there is that all committees have their day noted, so that from a recruiting standpoint, since they do such a mass recruiting, people vet themselves out if they can't make the day.
Standard practice to put it in
Yeah,
in Article 9. Okay.
So that makes sense. People join different boards, so.
That's great. Move that we adopt the substitute language.
Okay,
second.
okay,
That was cute.
yeah, so Jeffrey moved,
All
Katie
in
seconded.
favor?
All in favor, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
in favor.
Yeah, it passed.
I am.
All right, thank you. We just need to do that, because, yeah, it was important that we need our bylaw to match what we're doing. And I was gonna do it in June and I forgot, so thank you all for doing that. All right, now the last thing, I just need guidance and I have an idea. So the last piece is about, so our funders collaborative partners, City of Boulder and Boulder County, after much discussion with some other nonprofits, decided to help our nonprofits out by giving them making it easier for them when they fill out their application and the scope of work part by giving them standard indicators that they're gonna be tracking, right? And that's fine, nothing wrong with that. It makes it a little bit easier. But the problem is that you all, not me, but you all have a question that you evaluate on those indicators. And I was thinking, well, it doesn't make sense to evaluate indicators that have been standardized by the funders. Right, so why, it doesn't make sense for you to score something that didn't necessarily come from the agency, but it's come from our government partners. And so what I was gonna show you all, or what I want to recommend is that hey, let me bring up the actual evaluation, and that'll make sense when we get to that. What I think that we should do is change that question and I think we should instead, but this is where I need guidance, because I can come back to you with August with a final, once I get some guidance from you all, is change it and ask about collaboration, because we added a collaboration question to the application. So let me share the current. This is what you guys, I want to make it bigger. This is what the board is currently seeing. Everybody see that now? Is that better? All right. So this question number 2. What data collected demonstrates that clients are better off? So those are your indicators in the scope of work. In the past, the agencies had to, you think about indicators that they're going to use or share the indicator that they're using. But now, if you look in your packet, I sent you a list of the indicators that they're going to be, they still have the chance to put under, but in your packet is the list of indicators that the county has suggested be the indicators. I think it's a 1-page document. Might be the one, maybe it's 2-page document. Yeah. Yeah, so those are the indicators that they get to choose from instead of creating their own. And so that's why I'm saying, well, why are we evaluating something that, or why is the board evaluating something that that's being basically, I don't want to say the word forced upon the agencies, but it's
Dictated.
it's being dictated, right? These are the ones that the county and City of Boulder, and I said that was fine. So the direction that I'm seeking is, do you want to keep this? Do you want to evaluate collaboration, or is there something else that the board is interested in? I think the collaboration question makes sense because we're heading that way. And go ahead.
I was going to say, it's hard for me to say that that effectively measuring program outcomes shouldn't be evaluated.
Well, we could still evaluate the outcomes. But the indicators we wouldn't be evaluating.
But they're choosing, I guess. I'm disconnected. I'm having a hard time connecting those 2 dots.
Oh, Martha, go ahead. Oh, I'll talk. Yeah.
I mean, in some ways, those almost sound like the same question.
Okay.
Meaningful outcomes, and if someone's better off at the end of a service. Are you asking to like get rid of the entire section too, or read?
No, just get rid of number 2.
Yeah, I mean, reading them just those 2, they sound duplicative.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, how do we know though? Like, right, does the agency's scope of work establish meaningful outcomes? I would be inclined to, if we were going to drop one of those two for redundancy, I'd be more inclined to drop one because the data collected demonstrating clients are better off, that would be important. Like the first one doesn't establish a meaningful outcome. I guess it's implied that we would get that data.
Okay,
Is there a way to blend them?
Yeah, it seems like maybe, right? And what's
So-
what's the objective? I don't understand the objective of changing this. And I'm just naivete. I haven't used the I haven't used this before.
so let me say, the objective of changing it is to incorporate, like, we could just add but I guess for me, the objective is not to change the numbering system by adding another question, but instead just replacing a question that I think is now moot. That was kind of my objective. But if you think there's another way to do this, or if you think that we should remove number one.
Well, I mean, number one's kind of ironic. If we're imposing the criteria, then what's the point of the first question? Because if we're imposing non-meaningful criteria, then why are we doing that? You know, like if we're imposing and we're saying you can choose from these 6, I'm making the assumption, I'm inferring that the assumption is those 6 are meaningful, right? It's like,
so let me clarify that. These 6 are outcome areas, are not the outcomes that they're gonna write down. And this is where, so the outcomes, for example, the outcomes are still going to be created by the agency and the program,
okay.
right? The indicators is what they're trying to, so for example, I'm trying to think off the top of my head an outcome, but I have.
It's all
I
good.
think
I mean, it's all good. Like, I get it. I'm more just substantively finding irony in the situation, I guess.
Well, let me.
We could blend them. And so it
We
says
could blend them.
agencies' data and
Yeah.
scope of work establish meaningful outcome, and then make the second question about collaboration or whatever, but it would be
Right.
a new question.
Right. Well, and I mean, I guess my question about that is, when you said you're trying to make the numbers match, I mean, agency effectively measures it's not, you're talking about another section anyway, because collaboration is different than
Right.
effectively measuring program outcomes. So you're gonna have to renumber this anyway. And I'd be fine combining those 2 questions and making, I think that was well said by Martha, but I think you're gonna, and also, can I just add about this collaboration thing? Is this just because it's a directive coming out of council? Just to be perfectly candid.
Well, I wouldn't say that it's a direct, well, it's something that we proposed to council that's how, after our involvement sessions with nonprofits, that's how we propose that we leverage the money that we have. So it's a little bit of both, that this is what we were hearing from our nonprofits. And we know kind of the state of the budget and where we're at with that. And so I think it's a little bit of all of that. And we know that in order to make those funds go further, nonprofits really need to start working together to leverage what we have, because it's not likely that we will get more money this year. I'm thinking that the funding will hopefully be flat and we won't lose any.
Yeah.
Does that help?
It does. I mean, I just worry about what happens when these kinds of things become priorities. I sometimes think that people, have to spend a lot of time and talent to reinvent and align to that thing instead of kind of focusing on their core competency. So I worry about the impact. I understand it. I worry about the impact on fidelity of programming when we introduce kind of concepts like that, because
That makes-
sometimes,
yeah,
right,
that-
sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work, you know?
That makes sense, Katie. That totally makes sense. And I don't see this dynamic changing for the future because what Eliberto has done is really looked backwards several years to see kind of where we're at with the amount of funding we have. And then the amount of requests that are coming in, and that line just they're just
Yeah.
is so much of a disparity each year, that I don't see that changing, and we need to leverage
Yeah.
what we have.
it's-
I'm sorry, I
it's
didn't
the
mean to.
reality.
No, that's right. No, I think I said. Well, is that one weighted the same as the others?
Well, we can change the weight
Yeah.
at this point, but I was trying to get direction. So, but I wanted to show you all real quick. So, when we talk about outcomes, yes, they have those 6. So, for example, outcome number 5 in there, increase physical, mental, or behavioral health and well-being, and increase healthy behaviors, including so they put food security in there, right? And so that might be the overall outcome area, but this is community food shares outcomes. At least 80% of our direct service food participants will report they have access to sufficient food and increase access to healthy, nutritious food. So they met their 2024 goals, right? 90% reported that. 95% of Longmont community partners. So this is the folks. So for example, they provided 2.1 million pounds to partner agencies, so like the R Center, Westview Food Pantry. So those are the 2 goals. So that even though the goal area is about increasing positive physical, mental, or behavioral health, their individual outcomes are going to be different, right? Their outcomes are based on their programs. So those are their programmatic outcomes. That's what it gets written into the actual agreement. But I just wanted to share that with you because you can see that these are just kind of the umbrellas that they're using, and that's fine. But we still have we still do our own internal screening of where people belong, if that makes sense. All right. So I just wanted to share those. I mean, there is a lot of outcomes that I counted. I did all this work. From last year's agreements, there was 182 outcomes that people reported on. And when I get done, I'm still trying to. I'm having some conversation with some agencies to get some clarity. When I get done, I'll send you all a copy of this. But yeah, 182 outcomes that were tracked last year. So I just want to get the pulse here. It sounds like Martha's suggestion is to, and I'll bring it back in August, is to wordsmith join the last 2 questions and then just add a collaboration piece, a question for the evaluation. Is that what I'm hearing?
That is what I suggested. The only thing I might consider is we're gonna need to be like narrow about what collaboration we're talking about. Like, is it their collaboration with other community partners or the feds or the community members themselves? Like, just who are we talking about?
So let me look for the question that I wordsmithed it with our Boulder County partners. So, and I will share that. I will read it to you. Is this it? Hold on. There was a lot of emails back and forth about all sorts of things.
I have a problem with the whole question. And it's this, and I'm sort of a skeptic on some things. There's a thing called selective bias that's quite common among sociologists and psychologists who are doing surveys. It means that when they get answers, obviously they want to have good results. So there's this tendency to judge people on the side of good results. There's a bias to selecting. You don't want to have too many negatives. You want to have one of these. I don't know if you dismiss any or not, but let's just say that people taking that survey have an interest in having a positive result, right? And it may be unintentional, it may be anything else, but it's doubt. You can't trust it entirely just because of selective biases. The only way in that second item, if yes, how successful, the only way you can figure out whether that was successful is actually talk to people who are in the program, separate from the staff, to find out whether or not
Yeah,
that.
we're not giving them, we're not giving them that amount of money.
No, I know that, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
question, we, I just think about.
Oh, yeah, no, I totally agree.
And how you check it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, Robert, but I tried to do, so we just did a third-party evaluation of our homelessness system. And where it wasn't staff, it was an outside, and that cost, and Longmont, we didn't have money, Boulder County and City of Boulder paid for it, thankfully. That cost over $100,000. And so I think agencies would love to have third-party evaluations, but they are not inexpensive. They are very expensive. So I agree with you, but most of our nonprofits don't have that kind of resource. And so we do the best that we can with and some of them have nationally recognized surveys, like our mental health providers, like Rise Against Suicide uses a best practice suicide ideation pre and post, right? And so, that's we have to take that at face value because it's been tested nationally, and it's been vetted, but right, yeah. So I agree with you, and sometimes surveys are the best that we got, But I see where you're coming. So to your question, Martha, the question that we added is describe how the agencies work with other entities to increase efficiencies and to achieve better outcomes. That's the question that we're asking agencies. So maybe the question that we add, again, I'll bring it back in August. I just wanted to get direction tonight. Maybe the question we ask is, to what extent did the agency describe its activities on increasing its efficiencies and its outcomes through collaboration? Does that make sense? Something like that?
I like that version better than the first one you said.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. All right. I will type that up and bring it back. So again, I'm getting guidance here tonight, getting the pulse. I'm going to wordsmith those two questions, combine into one, and then add that collaboration question, like I said it right now. Okay.
Okay, good.
Is that good? We don't need a motion because I'm just getting direction, but I just want to get, if that's a general direction, then I think I'm ready to work on it.
Okay.
Yeah, and next month I will bring, we will do a founded training. So for those of you that are new, it's going to be a little bit redundant because I'm going to give you your own spreadsheets because founded just doesn't do the work for me. And I need something that does the work for me because that's part of what takes so long is I have to go in and do the work.
Yeah.
And it always worries me because if I were to mistranspose a number, that skews scores and stuff. So I want to give the spreadsheets directly to you all, but I'll still give you access to Found It so you can see the applications.
Okay.
Do you think that the council's interest is in the increasing efficiency or all the collaboration? Because that, I like the way you reworded that, but it's still with the emphasis on collaboration. And if it's not efficient to collaborate, it's more efficient providing a discrete service.
Yeah.
And you have created a system, you've improved your system to make that more efficient. We're not recognizing that improvement in efficiency because it's not through collaboration. So I'm just curious about that. Is the purpose to be more efficient, or is the purpose for organizations to work together? What's really?
So I think it's twofold in my view. One, I think council, if you go back and look at that March 25th, I think council is concerned about the economic realities that nonprofits are facing. So one is there a way through collaboration to save on the bottom line? So that's one. And I think two, is the fact that we have seen a lot of agencies working on similar populations with similar programs.
So we want less duplicative.
Right.
Absolutely, yeah. What's the opportunity to service stack? I think that there's the propensity in this kind of economy for there to be mission creep. And so for agencies to want to do everything just to get those funds in the door. And then what we see later is when the economy rebounds a little, then it's like, oh, now we're stuck doing this. And so how could we support our agencies in ways that would impact their bottom line? Whether it's, they're all paying IT, for example. Is there a more efficient way, to your point, is there a more efficient way for them to spend dollars in maybe contracting with a certain organization or business that does IT? Like, how can they start thinking in those terms to kind of impact their bottom line? Because then with the money that we have, they leverage it a little better. So we heard about that. We heard about human resources. We heard about internet, IT, health insurance. I think there's a lot of things to be able to explore, but being able to get to that next level really takes leadership from those organizations to kind of push that to the finish line.
So I'm just thinking that it's gonna be a process, right? It will take time. So I don't know if we want the wording be, to what extent are they taking steps?
We could do that.
there?
Yeah, we can do that.
Right, because you don't want them to do something silly right now.
Right, no, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, some of those, that makes so much sense, but I just didn't understand that based upon the language. So it said something like.
But
Yeah. That, to
because
me,
even
that's
in a
like,
good year.
I think adding that language would be helpful, like.
I can't add it to the question because that's already out there, right?
Okay.
That was released
Application's already out.
June 23rd, it was released, so that's
Well,
out
maybe
there.
maybe though we can, in terms of guidance on scoring, we
Yeah.
can give them the direction that, like, I don't know if we have that leeway to think about how we're scoring if we see.
Well,
movement
Yeah,
in
we
that
can score
direction.
however we want, but the question was approved by the collaborative, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think, shared services, what you were describing, or gave another really good example of how they're reducing costs to deliver their services in a more affordable fashion. I mean, those are, if we could look in the application for those specific examples,
Right.
I think we could more adequately answer that question.
And yeah,
That's the step they're taken.
Because I don't think it should only be because, with budget constraint, right? Because it can be more efficient, you can always help more people, so. Yeah. That's just.
Okay. Yeah, we have all the freedom that we want to, however we want to look at that score and score it out. But yeah, the application went out June 23rd. So, okay. Well, I will wordsmith, I'll add the steps piece to that question and I will bring it back in August. Cause yeah, so a couple of things just to let you know. So the application closes August 25th is when it closes. So for those that are new, what's gonna happen is Christine and I are gonna take a look at them, pre-screen them, and then we're gonna try and get out, and we're actually working right now on the hearing schedule. and we just wanted to bring a question to the board. Again, we can talk about it more in August, but wanted to prime it up for you all. Is would this board be interested? Right now, our hearings are in the evening. Is there any appetite or interest in moving some of those to the daytime? Or is, I know some of you work and that's harder. So just want you to think about it. Because I know, if people who work, I know that that's challenging. So,
We're
but
still thinking it's gonna be 20 to 30.
probably 20, no more than, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, no more than 20. You were the only one that had 20 last time.
Okay.
Everybody else had between 15 and 18.
They were great though, those meetings. I learned a lot.
Yeah, no, they're wonderful. We're not wanting to get rid of them. We're just asking would the daytime be better or
I can't do things.
you can't date? Okay, that's okay. We just wanted to ask.
The weekend was okay though. I don't know.
We did do one weekend. We did do one Saturday morning. And we were done by 11:30. It was like 9 to 11:30. Again, it all depends on how many applications we get, right?
It might be a good idea to consider doodle polling the group for timeframes in advance
Okay.
to identify some blocks that people can hold. Just a
Okay.
thought.
Yeah, we did one night. So it usually takes us the whole month of. I think we started September 25th was the first one. And we got done at the end of October because we only did like one a week. So, and they're based on.
Yeah.
They're
I was just
based
thinking if
on
you have blocks of time, like if you wanted blocks of time, if you doodled in advance, you might be able to identify some of those within that window, I mean.
Okay.
Just a thought. I don't know how it works, so I'm new, so.
Well, we'll need to create, we'll need to create something and send it out.
Remind me, you try to do like 3 an hour, 20-minute increments, is that right?
20-minute increments, yeah.
So you could not, so you're looking at like 3-hour block of time.
Last year we did great. We did the longest was 3 hours, but primarily it was 2 to 2.5.
Okay.
Yeah, you kept people on.
Yeah, I try to keep people, we gotta get moving, so I try to get people moving. So I try not to do more than 2.5 hours. Cause that's a lot. I mean, when I was doing this, when I was coming before this board, you guys would do like, and it wasn't that many applications, but you would do marathon sessions, 4 or 5 hour nights. I remember because I was one of the people that would come and talk to you, and it used to be all in person, and it was at the senior center. And I went to the senior center and waited in line with a bunch of other nonprofits to come and present to the board at the time.
I like the idea of doodle poll. I mean, I think if you can go ahead and start thinking about the calendars, this is October.
September through October.
September through October, yeah, but there's a Wednesday, October the 9th, Friday, October the 11th, and different, that sort of thing. I can look at the schedule that far in advance,
Okay.
but just in general, it's hard for me to say I'm available on Tuesday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So
Okay.
it depends on every week.
Well, Amy and I will work on this the rest of July and send something out in August. One other thing, I guess now we're moving on to new business. I did want to let you know that I got us on Harold's calendar, our city manager. He will be here, and by then, the reason I don't have him here today is because we still don't know what we're gonna have available. We should know by the end of July, and so Harold will come in August to come talk to the board about what's happening with the budget. So I got him scheduled for August to come talk to the board about the budget. So August is probably gonna be a longer meeting, right? Today we're basically done, but I think August is gonna be a longer meeting.
Do you have a hint whether it's gonna be higher or lower?
I'll defer to Christina. She's more in those conversations than I am.
Robert, we're lucky if it's flat. We're lucky if
That's,
if we don't have to take
good point. We're lucky if it's flat.
yeah.
Yikes.
But yeah, so we may have, well, we'll see. I mean, we won't find out till like the end of July. And so Harold can come talk to us in August about what we have and yeah. So, okay,
Thanks for setting that up.
Yeah. Thank you.
yeah. So that's all I have, Ms. Vice Chair. Not sure if you have anything else, we go to any other business?
Anybody have anything else? All right, well, yay. Well, let's get out of here.
Need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to
Oh.
adjourn.
Second.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Night. Thanks, everyone.